Okay, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Good morning, everyone. It is now 11:08 a.m. Calling the roll for the Monday, March 23rd Board of Control meeting. We have Lenora Lockett, Dale Miller, Jim Boyle serving as an alternate for Dan Brady,
Present.
Mike Chambers serving as an alternate for Armin Budish,
Here.
Dave Marquardt serving as an alternate for Mike Dever,
Here.
Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for the fiscal officer.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, could we all please take a quick minute to review the minutes from March 16th and let me know if anyone has any questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Public comment
No public comment at this time.
and contracts and awards.
First new item, item number BC 2020-188. It's a two-part item. Department of Development recommending approval of loan loss reserves in the total amount not to exceed $460,000 to support bank financing for loans to minority borrowers through the Capital Access Fund of Greater Cleveland. And it's for the period April 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2027. A, Urban League of Greater Cleveland in the amount not to exceed $230,000 through the UBIZ Venture Capital, and B, National Development Council in the amount not to exceed $230,000 through the through the Community Impact Loan Fund.
Okay, Anthony from Development, I believe.
Thank you. This is Paul Herdig from the Department of Development. I'll be presenting the item this morning. This item requests approval for a loan loss reserve in the amount of $460,000, which will be from the Economic Development Fund. The purpose of this loan loss reserve is to continue the very successful work that's been done in lending to minority-owned businesses under the county's Capital Access Fund program. This was started in 2016. It's a collaboration between Cuyahoga County, the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, and the National Development Council. In the first round of this, there were over $3.8 million of loans made to 25 businesses, which were successful in creating over 413 jobs. It is time now to recapitalize the fund, and working closely with our partners, they have secured investors to make commitments. Jumpstart and Cleveland Development Advisors are committed to making further investments with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, and U.S. Bank and Citizens Bank have committed to make investments through the National Development Council. There will continue to be a single fund, the Capital Access Fund. The intake will be through the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. Additionally, in considering the situation we're in right now, we have reached agreement with both the Urban League of Greater Cleveland and the National Development Council that a significant portion of the capital that's leveraged here will be used for short-term assistance to minority-owned businesses and for recovery as these businesses emerge from the present crisis. And we welcome any questions.
Thank you, Paul. Are there any questions for Paul on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
I just want to also clarify and confirm that we have no public comment at this time as well.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on to the next item, item number BC 2020-189, Department of Development, recommending an economic development loan to Lakewood Craft Brewing Company, Inc., doing business as Immigrant Sun Brewing, in the amount not to exceed $395,000 for the purchase of equipment and other project-related expenses for a 10-barrel production brewery and brew pub. It's located at 18120 Sloan Avenue in the city of Lakewood.
Again, this is Paul Herdig. I will begin to present this, but I do want to note that our staff, Michael May and Anthony Stella, are all present should there be detailed questions about the loan. This loan was thoroughly reviewed by our Cuyahoga County Community Improvement Corporation and recommended for approval in the context of the present situation. The county's loan will be used to purchase brewing equipment It will be secured by the equipment itself and by adequate personal guarantees. The brewery will be operated by the owner of Constantino's Market with successful experience in serving the public. The jobs that will be created by the county, primarily production jobs, well-paid production jobs. There will be a brew pub component to this. Obviously, the opening will take place well after things have returned to normal. And I also want to emphasize that even with county approval of the loan, we will not close or fund until and unless we see that the other funders have also come through in their commitments. There is additional funding that is also in place for the project. So we put safeguards in place to ensure that this will be a prudent investment of county funds, even in the current situation. And I'd welcome any questions which our staff may be able to answer in detail.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Are there any questions? Councilman Miller.
Not a question, just a comment. I would like to speak in favor of this project. It's a highly desirable project in my district. It's going to create new jobs. It's going to make use of a building that's been vacant. It's a very cost-effective project in that a lot of the building infrastructure was in place, and so this project can be developed at a much lower cost than would be otherwise possible. And so I just recommend this project to my colleagues.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Boyle.
Thank you. Paul, are you still there, Paul?
Yes.
All right. I guess my question is both to you and to a certain extent to you, Mike Chambers. Obviously, the situation has changed drastically since this loan was placed in the pipeline. I don't, obviously, I'm not going to belabor it, but I think that's clear. Are we comfortable with where this is in kind of our big picture conversation of what the county is going to do moving forward? I mean, we're talking about lending money to an institution. I'm in favor as well. I think it's a great project, but to an institution that currently can't operate. And are there any time issues regarding our approval of this that might be in play as well? And I would pose that both to you, Paul, from the development side, and Mike, you from the fiscal side, in terms of our bigger, broader conversation of where we are.
Paul, do you want to take first crack at it?
Yes, I'll speak first. Certainly, the Department of Development has been working very closely. You know, Ted and Armand we're working very closely with all of our partners, both financial and workforce, to have a comprehensive response to the present situation. And certainly, we are indeed looking closely at the department's budget, as I'm sure all departments are, to make sure resources are going to the right place. What I will say is that this, we believe, is a prudent investment of limited funds. The ratio of funds to jobs to be created is a good ratio. Certainly, it's not contemplated that, you know, necessarily closing will take place tomorrow. As I've said before, we will make sure each of the other lenders continues to underwrite the project to be a success in that context. And certainly by the time the construction is finished and the facility is ready for operation, we would anticipate that it would be able to operate. But we do understand and are looking to allocate significant funds from the department's budget, as the county is, towards the short-term response, but also there's going to be need for recovery. And this is an example of the kind of thing that will be important as we get to the recovery.
Okay, Paul, thank you. And I do know that in our pre-meeting, we did discuss this, and we felt that there was significant corporate guarantee as well as, I believe, personal guarantee and the equipment. And we do know we're coming into tough times, but I do believe we still felt that this was, you know, a worthwhile project to move forward.
And just, Mike, when you talk about the pre-meeting, we're talking about Wednesday. And just since Wednesday, I mean, literally the entire situation is flipped upside down. I mean, it's a good project. I get that. We're comfortable from the fiscal and from the development side moving this, then that's fine.
We're comfortable in the fact that we, even on Wednesday, knew things were getting Grimm, and I know the executive did ask us similar questions, and we, and Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, we felt with the guarantee that, you know, our risk was very minimal.
Okay.
So, any further questions? With that, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, item number BC 2020-190, Department of Information Technology, submitting an amendment to a contract with Northwoods Consulting Partners, Inc. for maintenance and support of on-base software for various departments, and is for the period January 1st, 2019 through January 31st, 2020, to extend the time period to April 30th, 2020, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $56,490.88.
Good morning, Janelle Green, Department of IT. This item is to extend the contract that we have with Northwoods until the end of April while the team is getting the contracts for our selected vendors through the process. We posted an RFP in late 2019 that had a significant response. And so we are allowing the evaluation team to review those responses and making sure we had vendors come in and fully answer all of our questions in order to select the best vendor to carry out the process of providing maintenance and support of the on-base software for the various departments that utilize them. So again, we're just wanting to extend the time to April 30th to give us the time to fully go through the vetting process and contracting process with the selected vendor from our RFP.
Okay, thank you, Janelle. Are there any questions on this item? Seeing none, I will make a, oh, yes, sir. Mr. Boyle.
I'm sorry, if I may, Mike?
Yes, please.
Janelle, I saw the answer you gave on the Highland piece. Can you expand a little bit? I'm not clear on what Highland's role is. I mean, the question is any of this money going to Highland? It's either a yes or a
Right,
no.
so-
Go ahead.
I know that when we, I'm sorry. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Is it going to Highland?
No, all of this money is going to Northwood directly, and as Northwood is a reseller of Highland's products, they may have some reseller agreement, and some portion may go to them ultimately, but none of this agreement, this portion here is being paid directly to Highland.
And you're unaware of whether any of it's being, after we pay, we don't know whether there's a sub-agreement between Highland and Northwoods as relates to this particular contract, correct?
Correct.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janelle. Once again, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item is a two-part item, item number BC 2020-191. Department of Information Technology, A, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Latitude Geographics Group Ltd. in the amount not to exceed $5,150, and is for maintenance and support on GeoCortex Essentials Standard Edition software, and it's for the period March 23rd, 2020 through March 22nd, 2021, and B, recommending the award and purchase in association with RFP exemption.
Good morning again, Janelle Green, Department of IT. This is software that our GIS department uses in order to ensure that maps and information gets posted to the My Place application that is used by fiscal in the appraisal department, and it's also for residents of Cuyahoga County to utilize. So this will provide maintenance and support on that software for the next year in anticipation of us rolling off once Harris is in place.
Okay, are there any questions on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Next item,
Thank you.
Next item, item number BC 2020-192, Fiscal Department, submitting an amendment to a contract with Protivity Government Services, Inc. through its staffing division, Robert Half Government, for temporary staffing services for the period March 1st, 2019 through February 28th, 2022, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $50,000.
I will take a stab at this item. I presented it at Wednesday's board. We do have staff that we're short, and especially in our financial control area as pertains to our annual CAFR. So we are employing a person right now, and we want to continue that person until the CAFR is completed. So we're asking for approval of this, and any funds not needed certainly won't be used. So with that, I'll ask for any questions.
It's just more of a comment. It bothers me to see us not having the staff abilities or skills on an internal basis to do what would be considered, these are things that presumably we should be able to do in-house, correct, Mike?
Well, presumably we should be, but we've been having a difficult time, and as you know, our controller is leaving, so we're going to be shorthanded. And this particular, we've needed this resource for, I believe, the last couple of years with the CAFR, so it isn't the first time. So hopefully our goal would be to fill that spot internally.
Okay.
Any further questions? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Item approved. Next item.
Next item, item number BC 2020-193, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, recommending an award on purchase order to RMAG Corporation in the amount not to exceed $14,108 for the purchase of one Type 2 explosive storage magazine for the City of Cleveland Police Bomb Department unit.
Good morning, Mary Beth Vaughn from Public Safety. This is being purchased with our UASC grant and will be used by the Cleveland Bomb Team to safely store explosives. We did solicit quotes and we're making a recommendation to award to the lowest cost vendor, and this purchase has been approved by Ohio EMA.
Okay, thank you, Mary Beth. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Next item, item number BC 2020-194, Department of Health and Human Services, Cuyahoga Job and Family Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with United Way of Greater Cleveland for fiscal agent services and emergency food purchase assistance by hunger centers serving eligible Cuyahoga County residents, and is for the period January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $50,000.
Good morning, Christine Alexander, Department of Health and Human Services. On behalf of Job and Family Services, we are seeking to amend our contract with United Way to add $50,000 for the purpose of administering the emergency food funds of Cuyahoga County to 37 food pantries. These dollars were part of the most recent county budget hearings. United Way provides oversight of the county emergency funds, and basically they're responsible to make sure that the dollars are spent on food and food delivery only. The dollars must be used to purchase food from the Cleveland Food Bank. This funding has remained flat for at least 10 years at $1,095,450. So there was an ask by United Way for this increase during the budget hearings this past fall.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Are there any questions?
Just if I can clarify,
Boyle.
Chris, I think it's been flat for more than a decade. When I was dealing with this in 2011, it was the same dollar amount. That's 9, and I think it was flat before then. If possible, can you just find out for me, Chris, when was the last time those dollars were altered?
I sure can. I was around back then too. I know that the dollars used to go directly to Hunger Network, and there was a point several years ago where we issued a request for proposals, and the respondents were Hunger Network and the Cleveland Food Bank, and the relationship maybe was a little bit tense back then, which is one of the reasons why we assign United Way as the administrator of the funds, and that the dollar amount was required to be spent on food bank. That was kind of an agreement that made all the parties happy. So I can let you know if there's something prior to 10 years ago, if we have a document. I know that I can go back probably about 10 years. So I'll check the last time it was changed.
It goes back to the commissioner here. I'm aware of all of the things that you mentioned. So, all right, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next
Thank
item.
you.
Next item, item number BC 2020-195, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services, recommending an award on a purchase order and to enter into a contract with University of South Florida Board of Trustees in the amount not to exceed $30,422 for creation, implementation, and maintenance of the just-in-time foster parent caregiver web-based training program. And it's for the period March 23rd, 2020 through December 31st, 2020.
Good morning, Chris Alexander again, Health and Human Services. On behalf of Department of Children and Family Services, we are seeking to enter into a new contract with the University of South Florida. They provide just-in-time online web-based training to our foster parents, kinship, and other caregivers for our children in care. The web-based training is designed to connect these foster parents with real-time training, peer experts, and resources so that they can improve their care from their homes, so they don't have to leave their homes to maintain their license. It's not a public website. All their materials are copyrighted. We did issue a new procurement in October of 2019 to 5 different vendors. We received a single response from the University of South Florida and are recommending this award.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to
Before we
exemptions.
move on,
Yes, sir.
I did have a question on that item. As to whether that's something that we do on an ongoing basis, or is this something that's more geared to the current crisis?
I'm sorry, the first part of that? Is this a question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of the question.
The question is whether this is something that we would do on an ongoing basis, or is this something more geared to the current crisis?
This is something that we do on an ongoing basis. The University of South Florida has actually provided this service through a contract that originally was awarded in 2015 through a competitive procurement. Armand asked after 4 amendments if we would take this back out to bid. So we have been doing it since 2015. It's part of the National Quality Parenting Initiative.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, we already approved it, so we can go to the next item. Thanks, Chris. All right.
Moving on to exemptions. Item number BC 2020-196. Department of Public Works recommending to amend board approval number BC 2019-238 dated March 25th, 2019, which also amended various board approval numbers, which approved an alternative procurement process and resulted in award recommendations to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $520,000. And it was for the purchase of ready mixed concrete to complete various department orders. And it's for the period March 1st, 2018 through February 28th, 2020, to extend the time period to February 28th, 2021, and by changing the not to exceed amount from $520,000 to $620,000 for the following providers: A, Rockport Construction and Materials, Inc., B, Carr Brothers, Inc., C, Cuyahoga Concrete Co., D, Campbell Concrete and Supply, E, Osborne, and F, Tech Ready Mix.
Good morning, Tom Pavich, Department of Public Works. This item, we're requesting to amend a previously approved alternate procurement. It's for the county's road and bridge and other departments' concrete vendors. During 2018, we did an informal bid that resulted in multiple DOs to be awarded at a future date. That's how we set up this alternate procurement. Public Works, I believe we spend well into 6 figures on concrete on an annual basis rather than constantly going out to bid. We did the alternate procurement that identified vendors that we would still come back to the board with DOs, but we won't have to go back out to bid. We're looking to amend that, add additional 100,000, extend it one additional year. Last year, we did a large master contract with for sanitary, road and bridge. We combined them. We also did a separate one with facilities. One commodity that was included with the road and bridge was concrete. We did have one vendor that was Carr Brothers, so we do have a vendor under a contract, but that just shows additional evidence that we did a formal bid process. We did only get one bid. So by amending this alternate procurement, we still have 4 active DOs that are part of this. But as business needs change, whether it's location of some of our projects, environments, with the pandemic that's going on, we're not sure what vendors are going to be in business as we proceed. We want to be able to go to these 6 vendors as needed and based on the business need going forward. So we're just looking to amend it, the alternate procurement. When we do have additional department orders that would be required part of this, those would still have to come back to the board for approval.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Any questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Be safe.
Moving on to the consent agenda, item numbers BC 2020-197 through 198.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Councilman Miller.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion to move and approve. I will second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Any new business?
Yes, we do have other business. We have one mission critical item. It is from the Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, recommending an award on requisition number 792 in the amount not to exceed $10,500 with USIC Inc. and is for the purchase of 75 thermometers, and the funding source being utilized is the general fund.
I move adding the item to the agenda.
Okay, I will.
second.
Seconded by Mr. Boyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's been added to the agenda. Do we have any questions on the item? Or Mary Beth, do you want to say anything real quick?
Okay, yes, this is, we're purchasing these thermometers as part of the county's COVID-19 emergency response. They're going to be used for screening individuals entering the county buildings and the jail. We did solicit quotes. The vendor that we went to was not the lowest cost. It was about $1,100 higher than the lowest cost vendor. However, they will be able to get these thermometers to us by this Thursday. The lowest cost vendor could not get them to us until April 10th or April 11th. So given the urgent need, we opted to go with this vendor. And then the third vendor was actually a higher vendor, and higher price vendor, and they could not get them to us until the end of May.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yes.
Councilman Miller.
How long will it take to take somebody's temperature with one of these thermometers?
Councilman, unfortunately, I don't have that type of information. I do know that it's a gun type, so it will be doing it from heat, so we don't have to make contact. But the amount of time, I unfortunately don't have that information.
Would you be willing to
I can
find out?
find out, though, and get it back to you.
That would be great.
Okay.
I have seen a few of them, like a second or two is what I've seen, but go ahead, Mary Beth, and find out, though. Thank you.
Sure.
Any further questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve this mission critical item. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Thank you. Any additional
Thank you.
business?
We have no other business at this time.
And no comments?
Do we have any public comment at this time? Hearing no public comment as well.
Okay, I will then make a motion to adjourn our meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Before you adjourn,
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make a couple of comments about future meetings.
Sure.
One is to bring to everybody's attention that the Ohio Attorney General put out a report recently, just in the last couple days, saying that it's not permitted under ordinary circumstances, but that under emergency circumstances, it might be allowable to do meetings like this by teleconference and still comply with the open meetings law. So I would strongly recommend that we look into that, and if we decide that will not work for us, that we probably should not meet more than once every other week. We can go for 2 weeks and not meet any more than necessary. Thanks.
Okay. Any other comment? Go ahead, Mr. Boyle.
Just briefly, I just got word that our jail numbers are, I think, at 1,300. And so while you never want to say that there's a silver lining, I think that there is at least an increased recognition that that alternate avenues need to be taken as relates to our jail population. And I saw that we had the jail food purchase on there. I think that moving forward, they're going to have to not plan on having a max capacity and, alter their purchases as needed. But it is a positive sign that there's only 1,300 people in our county jail as of today. So anyway, just a comment.
I would just like to add, I'd like to thank everyone, Andrea, IT, everyone who put this together. I know it wasn't easy, but it worked, so thank you. And I guess we're adjourned.
No.
Sorry.
You motion to adjourn. We need a second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll send an email with law.